Good morning from sunny Oahu. I am so excited because this week's episode of Stretch Your Kitchen is all about breakfast. I want to show you how you can make breakfast the most affordable and easy meal of the day, even when you're on the go. I know we're all busy, but breakfast doesn't have to be that Starbucks stop or that fast food drive-through. You can make breakfast an easy part of your day with items that you already have on hand, and you can stretch your grocery dollars, minimize food waste, and still serve up delicious food. So today I am making a quiche. I have some diced ham. I had a half of a red bell pepper that I had left over from the other night because I made a beef bulgogi dinner. I had a quarter of a white onion that I diced up. And this is great. These are carrot tops. If you've never used carrot tops, I highly recommend. If you buy fresh carrots or if you grow carrots, carrot tops add such a delicious flavor to really so many different meals. So I'm just going to kind of dice up these carrot tops and add them to this entire kind of spectrum of delicious food, and it will become the basis of my quiche. So I'm going to go ahead and saute all of these together. Oh, and I also have turnip greens. So you can use any type of veggie that you have on hand. I happen to have turnip greens on hand, so I'm going to dice those up and add them. This might look like a lot of turnip greens, but they're going to shrink down to practically nothing. So my quiche will be ham, red bell pepper, onion, a little bit of carrot tops, and some turnip greens. But if you had on hand some leftover asparagus or some broccoli, really anything, you can add it to this particular recipe and you will have a quiche that your family and your friends will think is absolutely delicious. So I'll be right back. I'm going to saute the ham, the bell pepper, the onion, the carrot tops, and the turnip green. Okay, I'm back. I have sauteed my ham, my turnip greens, my red bell pepper, and my onion, along with a little bit of salt and pepper, and I'm ready to begin assembling my quiche. So the first thing is I do have 5 large eggs that I've cracked in here, so I'm just going to kind of whisk those up just to start the process before I combine them with the other ingredients. In here I have 1 cup of a mixture of milk and heavy cream. Now you could use half and half, you could use all milk, you could use all heavy cream, although that might be a little bit heavy for the dish. So I've mixed a half cup of milk and a half a cup of heavy cream. If you used all milk, I would suggest you add an additional egg, so that would be 6 eggs. So once I've done that, I'm going to just combine my whisked eggs with that milk and heavy cream mixture, and then I'm going to season this. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt, because you want to season all the layers. So we've already seasoned our ham mixture and now we're seasoning the egg. And here's a little kind of secret that I love. I add just a tiny little pinch of nutmeg. It adds this special something to your egg mixture. People don't quite know what it is, but it's there and it's present, and the flavor is just it adds a depth of flavor. So I really like that. So my egg mixture is ready, super simple. So I'm just going to start layering into my pie crust some of the ham mixture. And I'm using a slotted spoon so I don't get any of that sort of extra juice in there. That would probably make the crust a little bit soggy. So I'm adding about half of the pie crust full of this ham and turnip green mixture. Then in this bowl, I have a mixture of mozzarella and Parmesan cheese. You can use any cheese you have on hand, but I love a mixture of mozzarella and Parmesan. You need about 2 cups of cheese for 1 quiche. So in this mixture, I have 1.5 cups of mozzarella and 1/2 cup of Parmesan. I'm just going to add it right on top of the ham mixture. Now it's going to look very full in this pie crust, and it is. So you can use your hands or you can use whatever you want to do, but you want to give that a toss. So you're combining the ham mixture with the cheese right in the pie crust. At this point, everything in your pie crust should look fairly evenly distributed, and you're ready to add in your egg mixture. Now I use the same fork and I begin to sort of just pour a little bit and then maneuver the cheese and the ham. It is going to be very full. It could easily overflow. So it's sort of a little slower process. Take your time and fill your quiche with as much of the egg mixture as you can. You want to make sure the egg mixture is getting all the way to the bottom of the pie crust and it's mixing really nicely with all of the other ingredients in the quiche. Now I already have my oven preheating to 375 degrees, and before I place this quiche in the oven, I also like to line the pie crust with strips of foil. And that's just because I don't want my pie crust overly browning in the oven. So what I'll do is I'll bake it with this foil, kind of covering the outer pie crust for about the first 30 minutes. Then I will remove this foil and let the pie crust edges brown for the last 15 minutes of the cook. All right, this is ready to go into the oven at 375 degrees for about 45 minutes. And I'll check it at that point. The first 30 minutes will have the foil on the outside. The last 15 minutes, I'll remove it. At the end of the 45 minutes, we will have a delicious breakfast or brunch or lunch that surely uses what you have on hand to stretch your grocery dollars, minimize food waste, and still serve up delicious food for you and your family. Okay, so my timer's gone off and my quiche is ready and it looks beautiful. The best thing is, this can be breakfast for multiple days. I can cut this into slices and freeze it and just pull out a slice as I need it for an easy grab and go breakfast. You could make 2 quiches at a time or 3 quiches or 4 quiches at a time, and you would have breakfast for days on end, a healthy, nutritious breakfast that's much less expensive than any takeout you could ever find, and I guarantee you, a lot more delicious. I'm just going to top it with a few fresh chives. It's always good to have a little bit of freshness on any homemade meal. I hope this video helps you see ways that you can really stretch your kitchen, but I have so many more ideas, so please listen to episode 10 of Stretch Your Kitchen, Breakfast. It's the perfect way to stretch your grocery dollars, minimize food waste, and still serve up delicious food for you and your family. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for your support.